Ladies and gentlemen,
here we go.
Here we go. It's game one.
Day two, the final week of Summer Skirmish, Jack. And we have a northwest to almost a top center bus path, and you see already, like I said before, we were talking about long range drops. Anywhere is basically eligible. It's all valid. One thing that you will see, do you see in the bottom left on the map right there, that you have a number of players dropping out over the ocean. The reason they do that, for anybody that doesn't realize, your parachute opens in the game, the glider opens based on your elevation relative to the ground, and so what they're doing is trying to drop over the water because the elevation of the ground is as low as possible, which means they get a really late parachute drop. Yep. That gets them to the drops, the loot locations faster. It's going to be tough. Jumpman does have the hunting rifle, which you won't see a whole lot of late game from a majority of players, but unless they're feeling very adventurous. Typically, late game in competitive matches turns into like a very CQC fight. But Erico taking Double down with a single shot there. A couple of these players, they're going to be names that you will see again, because if they played in the heats and made it into the qualifiers but did not get into the grand finals on Monday, they're given the opportunity to jump back in and push through a heat again if they have the chance.
You get here early enough.
Exactly.
You get here early enough, go for it, I think is the thought process there. But it looks like Jumpman will be getting into this engagement with Saf, who's just above him, using that high ground. No player having any shields, but I would say the inventory has to favor Saf here. The Scar, the blue pump. He's got a hunting rifle as well. Not a lot of materials, though, Lupo, to work with.
No shield for either of those players, and they're going to try and a little bit of explosive play here to see if they can bump one another out from any sort of any cover they're in underneath. Trying to rotate around Saf, trying to get a smack in so we can get one more until he's out. He cannot build now, which means an engagement is forced. The trap play, and Saf goes down. Jumpman.
This is from the lower side of the map at Flush Factory. There's Nazgul with the quick pump shotgun shots to eliminate his opponent. The crowd gets a little bit behind him there. You'll love to see it. Now swapping on over to the complete, eastern side of the map.
Jay Cuddy taking out King with the tack shotgun, gray or not.
Look at the reaction of the camera. Okay, I'm getting a feel for this.
That great tack, if you're close enough, if you're accurate enough, effectiveness is there. You just have to hit your shots, and now, we saw right there.
That's not the storm. That's the low gravity zone. By Fatal that's currently in play. This was happened because of the cube that's been rolling around. Quick little swap for Marshmalele to get that elim. No materials really left, but 200 HP. You got to be feeling pretty confident there. Storm Tiger, name seen online before. Going to go ahead and loop this chest just outside Tilted.
I believe I saw just on the feed. Liquid Poach was just eliminated, a name that we were discussing earlier, which is that's a big one to have go down when there's still 80 players, just under 80 players remaining in the game. But you have to remember, 3 more matches after this one. Saint is eliminated, someone we watched yesterday that was not able to make it to the grand finals just yet, but Storm Tiger took him out there. Out of materials, 7 and 5, and that's it. It hopes to grab a little bit, enough for one build.
Wow.
5 HP.
Oh my goodness!
The timing.
He's got to try to make something happen. Hit the sniper shot.
1 medal, 1 HP.
What? What?
Storm Tiger makes it all the way underneath.
Okay, and here's his opponent. Maxed health with a shotgun. Storm Tiger, burst. If you win this game, you're my dad. Okay.
And Jack,
you are not the father. The tests are back, my friend.
Jack, you're putting the caster curse coming out already. Wallhack Jack, a fellow member of Rogue, looking for an elimination here, but Teenage takes him out. Some very accurate mid-air SMG shots.
And one thing to remind everybody at home, if you've been watching the Summer Skirmish up to this point, we have not had a live crowd. Well, guess what? It is standing room only. And you can hear just how intense it is. A live look at the scoreboard. Again, we are running a full-functioning spectator feature here this weekend that catches us up to speed on where we are. Now, Ben, for everybody at home, let's remind them of how the points work. 3 to 4 limbs will earn you 1 point. Nobody yet at 3 limbs. So everyone's still sitting with a goose egg.
Lassie's the closest right now, though, too. But here we see Painful PvP pushing up, trying to see if he can get above his opponent. But there's a lot of building going on here. The triangles there, the pyramids. But he does have a top down. His opponent using those pyramids to double layer, trying to make his way in. But a lot of edit and replaces from Painful. The drop down, his opponent closes an edit behind him. The chase down. Show up with their controllers and stay toe-to-toe with anybody, and it's wonderful to see that. The competition is fierce on both the console and the PC side. Now, Cease is someone we've seen in the Summer Skirmish events a number of times. I've watched his gameplay. Very, very fast at it, as we've seen in the past. But he's also scary accurate. Of course, I say that at the shotgun blast. A second one coming in, the jump over the top.
There's the Ennis you mentioned. Trying to just pull some last-ditch efforts with the clingers, but it's not enough. Payday does go down. It's a relatively clean fight from Cease, and the big thing to point out, too, as well, Lupo, look at the materials. Now, 800 wood, 430 brick. Great spot to be in so early in the game. You see Hysteria, the left side of your screen. He was someone who wasn't able to make it through yesterday through those qualifiers. Came back on through, got off early, and now he's back again.
Made it through the heats today to give it another shot, and they're down there in Greasy, but back over just southwest of retail. There's a pair of houses here that is a pretty common loot spot for players that don't want to hit a POI, but it looks like it's a pretty hefty drop here this time. Dr. David, a fellow doctor, trying to see if he can put some shots in.
Probably not legitimate as well. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Ben. We'll talk about that later on.
These drop-ins, you'll see some players even avoid building. I think his opponent was down underneath. That David gets third-partied.
Wondering, is he going to pop the Rift to go? Is he going to try to just use it as an escape tool?
He's going to escape. If right now he feels like he's in a bad spot and he does not use that Rift to go, I feel like that's a pretty big mistake. He has an opportunity to make a move here. Yep. He can pop them, and he does have bandages there to push himself up. He's going to be at 100 HP if he gets a chance to get all of those off. But we'll see here if Stark 2K decides to push or not. We have Amjov, Sean was taken again, another name we've seen, and Kevy back there in retail, and the Storm's going to push them out.
Material count is low, and that's exactly what the scenario is on the opposite side of the map.
Megalomaniac 94. It is out at the hotel. The snipe shot, the headshot on Envy Scrap.
Our leader at this point, and then Painful now at 3. Those are our only 2 players up to this point, Dr. Lupo, who have earned themselves some points on the board.
There are 3 other players currently alive. It looks that have 2 eliminations, 1 more Elim pushing them to the 3 to get that single point. That's Kevy, Fluffy, and Zachamp. If they could pull, like I said, 1 more Elim.
And it's so important to mention, too, as we see how Painful got his 3rd elim. There it was. Jay Cuddy gets cut down. But the thing to bring up, we had our 33rd player trying to use those audio cues, listen for where this player could be. I think he's got him spotted in the brick, and here comes more remote explosives. No! It's only an 8-point damage. There's the cleanup onto Ultra, but again, that third party now popping on in. Lanane's got to keep the action going, keeping the high ground. Try to spot with this pump. Only 24 more for wood. Thankfully, a ton of brick to use. Quick little peek. Cheeky. The high ground secured again with the ramp. Drops that wall to block as well to be able to re-secure with that floor, and just like that, Lanane has chipped away some damage, Lupo, while keeping the high ground.
Lanane actually showed a really important skill that a lot of competitive players have utilized. Well, yes, obviously, but yeah, he jumped out to the on the right side, took the shotgun shot, and then built underneath him. He was going for the hit as fast as possible. He could have built and jumped out, but that might have cued his opponent to say, "Oh, you're building out here. You're going to push from that side," and he could have built a wall. But Lanane said, "Nope, I'm going to jump to the air, take the shot first, and then we'll worry about building and stopping the drop."
This is actually Aiden from earlier. That was Aiden's 5th elim.
Fuzzy.
A brilliantly lightning quick edit. Back to the Lanane fight, still in this engagement. The zone will slowly be closing on in. Yes, they're right on the edge, but they will have to move. Looks like that player just below is beginning that process of moving now, and Lanane still wants us. The third party, though. This could spell disaster. Only 13 HP, and that Storm's going to hit for a lot as it closes on in, Lupo. Magnum Cade knows he's got someone just below, and there it is. Peekaboo. Lanane. Here's a little replay from earlier on as Rogue 00 Flower. A little bit of a battle.
Shotgun shot there. Gets tendons during the rotation. He's got a minute here. That Storm is going to start impacting gameplay decisions, though.
Sean, you see the low gravity.
Floating, yep. They're close enough to the cube. This thing is really changing up how some players are maneuvering and maybe even throwing them off. The expectation to drop faster while you're jumping and trying to throw snipers and tap fire from ARs from a distance off, it might make it tougher because you're not necessarily moving in a way that you're used to. Now here's the leaderboard as we were talking about earlier. 3 other players hit 3 eliminations. That means 3 people have a single point apiece. But Painful PvP, the only one of those 3 that's still alive. Plus Aiden sitting pretty at 7 up top.
Back to the game now. Sean was taken, hiding, healing. Greasy Grove. One of my favorite areas on the map. You see that low gravity zone ending just outside that area. players beginning to push on in. Aiden has made the move. So last we saw, Aiden was on the far side of the zone, had to make something happen. Well, he has. Still 31 players left. You can see the entire zone on this mini-map. Shows just how kind of slow played some of these guys are taking this to try to stay alive for that top 10.
Now you can see Aiden kind of sneaking around. I think he may have heard movement from the player above. You have to remember, even a weapon swap, you can hear that audio cue. And so Wheels up top, if there's change weapons at any point while Aiden's been in here, he will have heard him. You can hear the footsteps. There's movement happening. He knows there are people around him.
He's looking for more fights. This is the next zone. Is the first zone that will be, one of the full rotations that'll have to happen. It's half out of play. Tempo actually just got knocked out of this game by Cease. So
I gotta say, this might be some of the most aggressive in the middle of a rotation. Aiden just says, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I've got a player trapped outside, put himself in a 1-by-1, and he's making moves.
Look at these speed builds, turbo building, spinning around, placing walls. He's made it into the next zone again. Out of metal, but still 1,500 plus materials to use to his name. Over to Levake. Trying to edit on down. Player just above. A little bit of an awkward spot for him to be in. Uh-oh. Remember that trap? Remember that trap, Aiden?
There are a pair of them in there.
Remember that trap, Aiden? Place! Remember the trap? There it is!
But it wasn't Aiden. Bowman SC was the second trap, the one closer to the front door. You see the border around the traps tell you whether or not they're yours or not. And we saw when Aiden put one down, there was a second trap with a yellow border on there. There's an opponent.
I thought he was walking into Aiden's. Imagine that would have been his 8th limb. My goodness.
Adam Cade. One of the few players I think that I've seen thus far holding on to a bolt action this late in the game. And it's funny to say late in the game. I shouldn't have said anything, but Chuck Nance, the shotgun play there. But this late in the game, there's 26 players remaining, and this is the first circle move. This is where the people on the east and south side, forced engagements are going to happen. Joystick in general going to run into each other. Bowman actually going down there in the southwest to Shivsy. Kevy taking out Stark Duque in the rotation in, but gets third party by Sean is taken.
Oh, and Sean just got a free launch pad placed right below him from an enemy, so he's going to use that to maneuver quickly towards the opposite side of the zone. Cease now building up to the high ground too. You see Hysteria still alive, Marksman still alive, Ghost Fizzle still in this. Those are some of the bigger names in competitive Fortnite. Still fighting in these last 22 spots in game 1.
Now Velocody maybe pulling the first time I've ever seen somebody bunker up in the basement of Durburger. Usually a pretty common loot spot, but sticking yourself down in the basement, it could be rough. You're kind of bottlenecking everyone above you, because obviously you can't mine out through the floor. Aiden pulling almost another Elim. Looks like there were 3 players in there because he took the shot, didn't get the Elim. And Vi, who got the Elim on his opponent, gets the follow-up.
There you go.
An excellent 2 piece there. But
crowd getting behind Aiden, it seems like.
Absolutely. Should be proud. 3 points already.
Yeah, definitely our leader up to this point. But back to the action. Zone will close soon. Remote explosives in the hand of Sean. He's got 3 limbs, so 1 point for him earned so far. Looking for that quick little third-party peek. Does a little bit of damage. He's closest to this next zone. And Lupo, well, why is this the best positioning as we move towards this next one?
He's in a great spot because at this point, the remainder of the players, they're going to have to move the furthest. Now, his structure just got shot down a little bit on the left side, but he can third party. He can watch for rotations. He has a purple AR, which is excellent at doing a ton of damage mid-rotation. You have a really good moderate range weapon. Joystick dropping down the shotgun blast and then switches to that literally almost down to the last bullet of his gray SMG to get that elimination.
And look at this.
The southwest corner is going to be a nightmare for everybody trying to move right now.
This is where the storm just begins to farm. Sean looking on down. He's got all the height he could ever want. Someone now beginning to challenge this high ground. It looks like he'll prioritize him for the moment. And wow, Alpha just got shredded. 35-35, 70. We'll see it in game 2, pal. Sean moves a little bit closer. Now down to just 11. Remember, top 10 earn a point. Hysteria, no!
Hysteria versus Ghost Fizzle, and that puts him out of 11th.
That means Hysteria was 1 a limb. If he gets that a limb, he earns himself a point. Instead, he'll end game 1 on a goose egg.
Now the next circle you see in the top, Courage, is going to be rough for pretty much everyone. Not a whole lot of building was done between here and the north side past Greasy Grove, which means this is going to be an open area move. A lot of players are going to get caught rotating and maybe even run out of materials. We saw yesterday, I asked you about the building over the top, the layers that they're building to kind of create themselves cover while they move on the ground. And with nobody else out here, no other structure, everyone will be exposed, especially if you run out of materials.
Yeah, Sean is just farming from up top. He's down to just metal, but here you go.
Beginning of the move.
Oh, goodness.
Taking shots, shooting down a Ghost Fizzle. See some painful running into each other. A player from Tempo having to move simultaneously. Look at the layers here.
He's going for it all right now. He's going for it all right now, getting a little bit lower, not to take some crazy fall damage. Cease with one. Chino now spectating as well. He's been eliminated. You see Sicarios is trying to build with whatever materials he has left. There you go. Builds a little one by one. One player close, only 4 in total remaining. Now if you make it to the top 3, Lupo, you earn another point. Everyone knows that. Nobody wants to be the next one to drop right here.
Skyros, you could hear someone else is popping a shield very close by. That'll tell you there's a lot of players stacked on top of each other.
Is that still Sean up top?
I believe it is.
Oh,
nobody wants to rotate. Nobody wants to move. And I don't blame them because the next placement is, like you said, it's an increase in points. It's gonna create slower play from these really competitive players. They know that placement right now is everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, our top 4 here. The zone about to move. Everything we've seen will culminate in these final moments. Ghost Bizzle, one of the biggest names online of the Summer Skirmish up to this point, trying to bounce around, trying to see exactly where he can spot an opponent. The Storm slowly inching forward, everyone within just 1 or 2 walls of each other. It does not get more intense than this. Traps being placed, and now Lupo, this is it. This is the last move they've had to make. 24 seconds until the zone closes. And basically everyone's hand is forced.
Now Sean might still be in the best position depending on the healing of the other players. He has 5 bandages and healing through HP damage is huge.
Someone's out of shield.
Come out. Skyros goes down to Bizzle top 3, which means these 3 players get 2 points apiece.
That elim from Bizzle not only gave him top 3, but it gave him a 3rd elimination. Bizzle trying to strike down this opponent. It's not going to happen yet. So Bizzle has no healing, and he's only got 60 HP. He's got to force these fights. He's got to make something happen. He's looking to make it happen towards this low side, down to just 1 HP. Can he make the greatest play happen? I don't think Sean drops. Why would Sean ever drop?
This elimination will be worth 2 points right now.
Ghost Bizzle, good effort, my friend, but Sean knows there's the reason to force it. There it is.
The shot in Sean, an excellent play.
At the top, 5 points already, 6 elims. Aiden, who you're mentioning, second, 7 elims and 3 points.
Painful Ghost Bizzle sees joystick. A number of these players dropping a ton of eliminations, but you see even over on the right side, 14th Shido had 1 point total because he made it to top 10. No eliminations. You don't even have to engage people necessarily if you're in a bad position, because placement is also important. Top 10 gets you 1 point, and that could put you in the standings.
Over to our top 32.
Saint Squad in the chat, but let's get into game 2, Courage. The final week of Summer Skirmish. Can we get some noise in the arena here, please, at PAX? Players jumping out, Haunted Hills, Junk Junction, and even Snobby, potentially engagements happening early. It would surprise me if too many players went to the top of the villain layer. You see one kind of floating in, that white arrow on the left side, late game underneath Dirtburger, but a quick replay. Divine, a player we were talking about earlier, had a very high place. He's 3rd and a 1st. Gets the drop on Kutra there. The minigun, not often used, I feel like, especially in the current meta. SMGs and shotguns are favored quite a bit, Jack.
Except for maybe late game a little bit, as you see the tag there, Lucky Landing, where we currently are with multiple players involved. Monster, who won Heat 3, is actually involved in this engagement with Fuzzy. Fuzzy's just trying to keep this high ground. Blue Pump, so useful early game when you've got to pick Monster, probably doesn't have max HP.
He did an 102 damage headshot there, and Fuzzy gets an elimination, but he's not the only one left down here in the south. Back over to Greasy, we're watching Wheels and his opponent. Kind of a little top-down fight. The chest. Now, Jack, the chest sound between Wheels and Hysteria, that they can almost use that to mask themselves, right?
There was that minigun, and why you don't really see it used too often. It's not the best weapon to have, but when your loadout is a bolt action, or sorry, hunting rifle, Wheels to build with, I think he had enough to go after that one.
Double we were watching earlier. Bowman dropping in here. Oh, fast edit on Double. Does the replacement, immediately takes a corner out and pushes in. To Aiden, one of our high elimination players from last game.
I wonder if he landed tilted then, because he definitely landed tilted this one, and there's the rift to go.
The rift to go.
And he's just going to hunt his opponent.
The interesting thing about rifts to go, Jack, if you're outside, if you're through a wall when one of those is popped, even maybe a floor up or down, it will still grab you on initial use. So his opponent looks like it picked him up and pulled him with him.
Imagine, yeah.
Imagine. The tap fires.
Rift to go himself? Imagine again if he opened a rift right there from the portal. But Wish, player we've seen a lot of, challenging someone up close.
Gets really accurate AR shots, gray or not. The accuracy made every difference there. The 30 damage shots, he had 4 body shots on him, and that was all she wrote. Aiden back still here and tilted, taking shots on Alpha. This build fight, and there's that rift to go, grabbing both players, even though they weren't standing right on top of each other. The proximity of that you can even pull opponents out from inside of buildings. They land at the same time, and Aiden gets a quick elimination with a shotgun.
Wow, impressive stuff, Dr. David. His opponent's going to use a rift to go just in front of him, and now he'll follow it on up. Is so good. Yes, the reload's a little bit longer, but it is so worth it in these spots. He can't get out. It seems he's trapped. Aiden, can he finish the elim? There it is.
That 52 damage headshot.
I'm being honest with you.
I think that's the understatement of the century. Giving super accurate shots there from that green suppressed SMG, but the sting grenade, Logan having to back out. He's got one on him as well. Very low HP. Stuck.
Look at this zone.
Edge. We're seeing a lot of this. This
first zone was half off the map.
Southwest corner of the map getting quite a bit of play during this qualifier's second game, and we've got kind of a greasy, shifty area focus. This time tilted, still involved. Comfortable spot. Even just 1 point, like we've been saying, can mean the difference between making it to the grand finals or not. And Teenage here. Stop watching the pushing the opponent. What a shot on Ash.
But here's the thing, not able to loot because he only has 7 health. So yes, he wins that fight, but he's immediately got to start sprinting. Can't even get kind of his little gifts that were left behind. The boogie bomb.
They got to get the boogie bomb. He's got to rotate down. Stays out long enough. The boogie wears off, but he's getting this Grenader Jake, one of our guest casters from yesterday, now playing in the qualifiers today.
That's incredible. Cast yesterday, qualifies today.
The jack of all trades, as I would say.
Or maybe the Jake of all trades.
The Jake of all trades.
I'm leaving. That was abysmal.
Okay, courage.
Oh, man.
I thought I was the one that made bad jokes.
I love you, Ben. Let's see how Takata plays this one, though. Both players getting third-partied, one from the west, one from the south.
The name we watched earlier, stuck in the bottom of Shifty Shafts, and 1v1 his opponent gets quick at it. He has an opportunity, gets it on Fuzzy, a jump shot, and uses a line of sight to block the explosion from the C4. An intelligent play and very good positioning there.
And just to take note, that was the third elim for Lene in this one.
Oh, the trap.
Oh, he sprayed it down just in time.
Tristan in the middle of that 1v1.
If they're on wood or if they're on the ground, they're listening for if they begin to break walls, if they're breaking metal, if they're breaking wood or brick. They're listening for audio cues if the players are cover below them. See Aiden hunting one down here. Could this be the end? No.
Accuracy.
Aiden, another elim.
It's about 4 right now. I feel like if he keeps this consistency, he might set a record thus far for the qualifier eliminations. He's already got 4. He came away, with 7 last round?
Yep. I think the most yesterday was Turkey Lips with 14 across 4 games. So that puts already 11, and he's still alive here in game 2.
His boy and Rex, top of this hill right now. 40 seconds before they're going to have to start rotating, and they have quite a bit of travel time ahead of them. We have 5 players currently alive, by the way, with 3+ elims, plus 2 more that were already eliminated with 3+ elims.
Wait, he got another one.
Aiden's now 5.
Now got a 5th elim.
Gives him 2 more points.
Saint there as well.
Saint looking like he's in a fantastic position at the top of that.
And look at this. Painful was in second in elims, just below Aiden last game. Consistency is key, and these two understand that.
It's like Takata was just eliminated with 4 eliminations of his own, 1 short of getting the 2nd point for eliminations, but even...
He's just running across tilted.
You hear the footsteps, trying to go for that shotgun shot over the top, just get a little peek as his opponent is going to back down underneath. And the traps are coming out. You got to be safe and careful walking through there. They could even be on the surface above. There are multiple traps. This is not how. 185!
Are you kidding me? in that last fight was 1 elim away from earning that top 10 for a point.
Aggressive push and gets saved. That's 7 eliminations for the second game in a row.
I am speechless. I'm going to say right now, folks, can we give it up, please, in the venue?
Nobody else seems to be playing nearly as aggressively as he does, and he's taking advantage of that. Maybe it's a thought process.
Is this 8? Is this 8? Is this 8? Oh, trap. Okay, the trap stole it.
He only took 2 ticks from that. Recalls that there is another trap still in that building. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Don't push towards the woman with the library glasses.
Absolutely not. This rook skin, maybe giving him superpowers, I have no idea.
Okay, we take back everything we just said.
I don't think, regardless of the outcome of this, there's no way this is a caster curse.
How?
The trap he placed earlier got another elimination.
The trap comes into play. Now this player being third party, he wasn't able to clean up the elim.
Boyer gets joystick there. Aiden looking for his 9th elim, but 8 eliminations in a single game. He's got a slurp ticking right now, so he has a buffer of HP still going up. He's in a great spot. He's in the safe zone. His materials are ridiculous.
And what the theme I keep seeing, Lupo, is he is absolutely the first to just charge on up and move to the best positioning for the next zone early on.
I can't tell if it's just an incredible amount of confidence and knowledge that other players are rotating slowly, or if it's so gutsy. Shots coming from above. He's getting third party, maybe even fourth party, 50 HP remaining. He's got to defend with this turbo build as fast as he can.
He's trying to edit out.
He went for the edit to back out. 8 eliminations. Even more than the first game, Jack. Nobody else is putting up numbers like that except for him right now.
Yeah,
nobody. PvP doing an excellent job of his own, though. 15 left. He's got 4 of his own. Gets rocketed by Lenane. Caught off guard. I shouldn't have said a thing, but Lenane making an intelligent play there and saw him from above.
Lenane, look at everyone having to move through that zone right now. Lenane is in a brilliant position to spray on down. Look at all the layers being built, and he says, you know what? I got to catch up with these. Rockets in hand. It's time to throw out the explodes. 1 drops on in. Gonna collapse everyone to the floor as he continues to build above these players. 9 now left. Everyone's still alive. Just earned a point. Eliminates his teammate there. More pushing out forward. Only 6 left as Lenane continues to keep this high ground.
The number of layers, the number of little chambers that are being built here.
He needed the materials. He had to go for it.
At one point in there, it looked like some players were even holding hands almost. Tristan Hip going down to Boyer, an SMG in the feed, but Lenane has the launcher out. He's looking for it. It's not the only explode he has either, Jack. He has a single C4 left, which could come in key for dropping a structure late game, get an opportunity on another player and timing.
Multiple remote explosives being thrown. You see Lenane for a second was wondering if that was his own structure. He only has about 11 more materials he can build. Is he going to try to time this rocket? He is. He tried to blow up the remote explosives as his rocket went to hit. He just barely missed it.
A little bit more distance would have made a big difference.
Literally,
there.
1 more block would have been enough.
Looked like the rocket detonated the C4, which is it's an excellent high IQ play. It's just the distance needed to be different, but he does have it. He's got a top-down view, but like you said, low build count. He's got to start making moves down onto players. Otherwise, the third party here gets the shots, can't secure the elim. He's starting to take damage from the storm, but he's got to push in 4 left. He's got 5.
2 rockets could be enough to secure 2 of them right here. There's one. How about another?
3 remaining.
Doesn't quite connect. 3 players left. 6 elims right now for Lenane. Can he wind up securing maximum points with the 7 elim bonus and the Victory Royale bonus? That would be, I believe, our first 6-point game we've had yet this weekend. There's a shot.
Oh! The edit from above from Animal right through the metal surface there. He caught a window and took the shot with a shotgun and got Lenane on the rotation. 1v1 Animal.
Animal building out up, and this earns him not only another point for potentially the Victory Royale, but if he gets the final elim, that puts him at 3 eliminations. He's got all he needs. I've got Animal as my favorite to win this game. Let's see if he can secure it here. 10 seconds left in the zone. He's trying to get aggressive for the push. He knows how much it means to get this final elim and the Victory Royale. He can essentially stamp his ticket to Monday's qualifiers if he can get this here, or sorry, the finals if he gets it here. The shot's coming on in. Tries to get the floors and the pyramids going. 1 player just below. He's going to go to pop the mini, but then has to reset as the shots continue to rain on in. That drum gun so good at cutting down these layers. Smart play to reset. He'll build up top, but again, the volley of bullets continues to spray on in. Animal, when will be his cue to go for it all? He's trying to edit this pyramid. There you go. He's getting somewhere.
Trying to create a hole to drop down through right there. He finds an opportunity. You notice he built up, like you said, built a second layer.
It's a shot. Weak. There it is. Sav gets cut down.
Gives him 2 more points. Let's take a look back at what just happened. This rotation, the timing, the decision to drop down, and he does get the 55 damage crit there. Switches to the gold AR.
Where's everyone at? And wow,
15 eliminations, 6 points total, and like you said, 1 point from the qualifiers yesterday was enough to put you in. That's 6 times qualification potentially for Aiden already.
Can you see why we're talking so much about him? I'm sorry if people get mad at us, because look at that.
That being said, Sean was played yesterday and didn't make it through, but today he's putting on an excellent show, and he's not the only one. Animal painful. Boyer, you have a number of players here bringing home high elimination counts. On the right side, Tokata, 7 eliminations, putting him at 2 points, another 5. You have to remember the top 33.
Where's everyone at? And wow,
15 eliminations, 6 points total, and like you said, 1 point from the qualifiers yesterday was enough to put you in. That's 6 times qualification potentially for Aiden already.
Can you see why we're talking so much about him? I'm sorry.
Here we go, game 3, day 2, week 8. The bus coming from the southeast corner, pushing across. It looks like a number of players potentially hitting Paradise and even the little Wild West town down there in the southeast corner. But a lot of players choosing to jump out and float to the north side. Lazy Links, Risky Reels, even Tomato Temple now that the temple has been built. Rest in peace, Tomato Town. A lot of these spots are pretty typically heavy in public matches, but we've said in the past might not be the case this time around. But Aiden dropping Tilted, which it's looking like might be kind of a ghost town. He and Loomsy sharing this. Comes away with a hunting rifle to start and a full shield.
Tatlow is pushing for what could be his first elim of the game. We did see Payday had 0 building materials left, down to just maybe 5-6 hit points.
The sound cue there.
Should have this, right? He should have this. There you go.
And he does. Secures the elimination on Payday. Another controller player, just like a number of other players we've seen here. But that push on the outside, you could hear he was waiting for the dirt sound, the footsteps in the dirt. Definitely different from the wood panels on the floor on the inside. Sloth looking for shots down at the number of players in the residential side of Retail Row. Pretty common drop for a lot of players, home and native land here. But he's almost caught off guard with the shot up top, but returns fire almost instantly and lasers Ultra down from the top of that building.
And look at what he's got already.
The healing,
Chug minis.
Vlad and King B looking for an engagement here. Gets the shotgun shot off. Goes real. Misses a shot on the way down. A second shot in midair.
Oh.
And that actually costs him the elimination on Vlad. It could have been his first one for the game, but Vlad eliminated himself.
King B only had about 1 clip left of bullets for that engagement. Might have worked out for him there. Sloth, we just saw pick up 1 elim. A long drum gun fight. Decides, hey, this is I'm no longer wanting to play this kind of 50-50. He'll reset. No!
Bandit catches him off guard.
Third-partied.
Potentially some accuracy issues in there at certain points. Do you think it's nerves? Do you think it's the rarity of the weapon, Jack? What causes that?
You can toss it up to a couple things.
Chimney Rock often, and then push into Salty, because there's a number of chests that drop there, and not very many players will land directly on Chimney and move into Salty. You see Gorilla getting shots on Flower. 100 shield, 100 HP, not enough. Gorilla not even taking a point of damage there. Not got on in the past, something like this. But a cut over to Nazgul versus Bizzle. Bizzle, as we said before, very common to see him put up big numbers, and Nazgul catches the raw end of that long-range tack shotgun shot, gets the elimination. Back over here to Cease. What a spray down. Erico getting eliminated during an aggressive push up the ramp. Because it has the highest initial HP, starts at 110, which means out of the gate you place it in front of an opponent. You have just a little bit longer to put yourself in a better position. Dooley's shots from Linane, someone we kept our eyes on here, the accuracy. And he needed it, and he got it. Wow. See these drop downs. That is a very, that's a common tactic from competitive players. They'll put the walls during a fall.
Common tactic from top-level pro players. Yes. Not common from anybody else, as that's one of the tougher things to do in movement.
Pacifist catching Gorilla off guard there. Back over to Jake. This metal gets kind of handy with that high initial HP, gets the shots and gets the elimination on Megalomaniac. They were stuck on top of each other, and Jake took advantage of it, even though he's at low resource. The low material count is kind of it's a cue for a lot of these players to either choose to push or maybe to back out. And
Crashy bouncing around, trying to chase his limit of the storm, and he's doing this. Oh my gosh, and you see the frustration. So here's why he does that. You're thinking, no, why are you pushing into the storm? Here's the look.
Loomsy versus Aiden, back and tilted. And Aiden actually gets caught off guard. Goes out game 3 with 0 elims. What you have to remember, folks, it doesn't really matter because he's guaranteed, I would say at this point, to make it all the way to the grand finals on Monday. I don't think we've seen any emotion from him thus far, win or lose, to be honest with you.
He showed more motion golfing to a golf hole that wasn't even there on the mini golf course than when he was eliminated there. Shows his thought process.
Talking about earlier, Bandit, the most eliminations and not even alive anymore. Boyer now securing 3 eliminations, full HP, full shield, which puts him with +1 point based on elimination count, and he's the only other player right now with 3 or more.
Outlet he wants to take, but Spade slowly dropping down, and no!
Spades.
No! Is that C9 Shizzy? Okay, that is. He's going to fall on down.
The fall damage and the shots from Kevy coming together and putting him in a pretty rough spot. Plus the zone's moving in, so he can't really take a breather right now. He does have 10 bandages, but he might not have time to use them.
Oh, that's not going to help either. Takes even more damage.
Kevy takes advantage of it, secures the elim. That puts Kevy here at 3 eliminations. That's +1 point. And he's sitting pretty with healing. He's got an excellent loadout. That's a gold AR, the drum gun, it's blue, and a purple heavy shotgun. A lot of players would kill to have that setup.
Oh, I think this is done for Asteria.
That looked like potentially a bad weapon swap in there. I think I saw the pickaxe come out immediately after the edit, and well, I would bet he's trying to go to a shotgun.
So you'll see so many times when players get in these little builds, they start breaking down every wall that's not theirs because they want to have the ability to edit whatever's around them. It's happening right there. We did just cut away, but that's exactly what the player on your screen was doing. It's because you want the ability to control whatever happens with those walls. Unfortunately for Asteria, he was in that 1-by-1, but the player who was pushing him got control of the wall, had the ability to edit it, and Asteria had no quick answer.
Bottom right there, third-party shots coming there from Lassie's excellent position. Looking over Lazy Links on the map there for a second, you saw a lot of players getting pushed in there from the east and southeast side. Even Loot Lake right now is going to be, there's going to be a lot of action there. As you see here, we cut across here. Look at the number of players built up in basically little boxes around each other.
It's because he's trying to break through that wall because he's low on AR ammo. This is actually, well, you're going to see in a second who does lose this fight.
Vide versus Myth.
There goes TSM Myth to Vide.
Vide immediately got shot afterwards. I'll try and check to see if the elimination happened on him, but Myth is a name that we've been watching for to show up a little more often than Feed, and it hasn't happened too much yet, but these qualifiers aren't over yet. We've seen players come from even just the last game and drop a big elimination count, get high placement, and secure a spot in the grand finals in the final day.
Enigma just peeking from up top. Staying at this build. Again, you see these top players, they'll do this fall where they place the walls and the ramp to follow. Quickly disengages.
A minute and a half. The storm rotation happening now, Courage, and this is going to cause a lot of engagements to happen between these players. Carlos getting caught off guard, actually catching an opponent off guard, gets Cease on rotation. He was just kind of crouching in his box, waiting for movement from his opponent, and that's exactly how things played out. It's a very forward-thinking movement there. He didn't have to move early. He had enough buffer time against the storm, and the opponents that he was potentially captured in by, they had to move earlier. They were closer to the storm. He just had to wait.
Storm moving in, everyone having to react. Chuck Nasty staying alive, building 1-by-1s on the left side of your screen. You got Jay Cuddy still alive. We saw him get cut down last game with that shotgun as Kuptra trying to force the engagement. That was down onto Rex to earn their spots in that grand final.
You see movements like that, the FPS flips the ramp orientation in order to put himself in a position where he can peek shoot over the top of those. He could have backed up the ramp and potentially had an angle, but changing the direction of the ramp is key. And you see a lot of players just flipping those super fast. The left side of the screen, the density of the players is this final circle closing before the movement starts. 26 remaining, and the FPS, the only player with 5 eliminations. That's 2 points for him secured right now, which is huge. And he's trying to stay above his opponent opponents. Don't burn too many materials, though, in my opinion, because a rotation may happen for you as well soon.
Yeah.
And unless you catch somebody moving and can get their materials, whatever they drop, which may not be a lot, you're maybe burning through your own defenses too quickly.
There are currently 3 players at 4 elims, needing just 1 more to get that extra point.
There's one.
There's one of them.
Wish. Lassie secures his 5th elim, gives him 2 points. We shouldn't feel too bad about that, though. He had a point of his own. I believe that he had 3 eliminations before that. We have Saint there, top of the tower. He's got 2 players below him. Kuptra, who actually earlier we cut to him hit a pretty good snipe. We had another player underneath him, Tendons. Both waiting, kind of biding their time for rotation as the circle. This isn't terrible, but the players at the top of the mountain, they're going to have to move in a little bit. This is the structure in your top right that you see all 3 of these players. As Saints looking out, trying to catch somebody on rotation. This is Lassius pushing the east side of his elimination just before which.
This is how Lassius got to 4. Jeez, an entire AR clip with that little ammo. There you go.
Catches Ash on the out. What's the play here, Jack? How do you wait? You have 14 seconds before you have to move.
Ooh, the wall goes down just as the rocket connects, and look at Severi's health now, 14 HP. And it comes in. He's just going to have to go for it. I don't think he has time to heal. Marksman's still alive. There's another rocket. That was a Marksman, and the frustration as he rips off the headset. Here you go. Everyone moving in. Marksman getting cut down. He'll place the bounce pad to try to move on through. Everyone's got eyes on him. There he goes.
7th elimination for Lassie.
7.
Points.
He's done his job. He's done his job. Even if he drops now, he's done his job. He made it in the top 10. He got the 7 elims, and there's the people now dropping to the zone. Can Cuddy make it on through? I believe he will.
There's 3 players left. Saint's still alive here, very high up, but look at his ammo. Courage, look at his ammo. 4 small shots and 7 shots. You're running on nothing, Saint. He might have to switch and pickaxe somebody to try and win this thing if he's not lucky.
Imagine if he actually won with a pickaxe. I'd be done.
There's no bonus points for that, folks, but I feel like there should be.
Someone get on it. Someone get on it. Oh, that's the awkward thing. It's not even like he could hope for the 3 elims. Here's Tendons with 0. So basically just playing for placement. He's already earned himself 2 points just by surviving to top 3. He's low on ammo, too. He's not got a lot to work with either.
Shots from Tendons burning through potentially what he has left. He and Saints both in bad positions for ammo, like you said, and the next rotation is happening. This looks like it might be a push up the hill. He might not be worried about the next zone. He might be going for an elim here to get that, try and push himself to 2nd and maybe a win. Gets the shot, Tendons gets it. And Saint with basically nothing left. He had 5 shotgun.
This is his perspective. He hears them fighting. He hears, damage being traded. Okay. Doesn't get that elim. It would have been nice because it would have actually put him at 3, but in the end, where is everyone at? I'm assuming Aiden's still up top, yes, but he's at 6 points. Boyer's right there with him, and he's actually jumped to 13 elims to this point as well.
Boyer's somebody we actually haven't touched on too much before this. I did not even realize in the feed he's been racking up elims. He's at 13 of his own, tied for 6 total points, and he's not the only one. Linane, 33 advance, and we have 1 game remaining. Everybody is still eligible. Anybody could advance here, and it's going to be impressive to see who's going to show up this last game. I could. My ears hurt, but I still love you.
Thank you.
Now we see the bus coming west to northeast side, right across Tilted. If Nick Merckx were here, it'd be a dream drop, but we have a number of players jumping out early. See that bottom left corner, like I said before, dropping over the water is super important for that. Dropping over the lowest elevation they can to get the parachute to open as late as possible, the glider, so they can fly into one of these loot spots and hit it as fast as they can. The southeast side of the map potentially getting quite a few players going there, but it's always been a pretty even spread across the map, Jack.
Yep.
These competitive players, they see these locations, even the non-named ones, as an opportunity. A fight there for a weapon. Aiden picks it up, gets a couple taps, trying to drop down, and this pursuit we saw earlier against Sadie's going for round 2. Gets it, Tendons goes down early. No weapon. That spot right there in the corner, pretty common.
Could be the difference between life and death. Tempo in double L's. Cuts down Lucy. This As Erico still in that fight from earlier, we kind of popping back and forth.
A lot of action happening as fast. Multiple engagements happening. We'll try and give you as many POVs as possible of all of the fights. And there we go. Erico taking Rex out. But Dooley's coming in big there.
Pop that med kit for the moment. That was all the way over at Haunted Hills. Nothing left to his name after that, though.
Back over here, this is Cats Hawks, who dropped here actually previously and ended up engaging Aiden, I believe, in the second match.
Ooh, whiffs that build. He'll drop all the way down to the bottom. And I'm wondering how many people are around here. Is it 1v1? Is there a third party involved? I think that there's a third party. Yes.
Act 3, Divine played really well on the Heath, looking for elimination here. Gets a couple taps. He still saw that there's shield remaining on his opponent. So aggressive push, gets the shots. The tack, 67, does not get the crit. Only a body shot, and Cub Smiles takes advantage of that. With what
it's going to be so painful
left.
when he sees the health. When he sees the health, it's just going to add insult to injury. Shido, it's a zoning tool as well. You throw that on in, you know, hey, there's no way he can push through this.
Now, Velicoti doesn't necessarily have to take this engagement, Jack. That rift to go is so pivotal when depending on your position.
Absolutely. And also in the engagement feed, we just saw Poach within a limb. Myth just got in a limb. Lenane also getting involved. Velu breaking on in. It's a dance party now as he's made it into the dance floor, peeking. Where is this opponent? Gets tagged up for a little bit of shield. Let's Cub Smiles, we saw was down to just 10 HP. Velu can't snap out of his opponent quick enough, so from a 200 hit point pool down to just now 120, now down to just 97, not putting any damage yet into his opponent as of yet. Cub Smiles doing everything he can to stay alive in this final game of the qualifier.
If at any point Velicoti feels uneasy about this engagement, he can rift to go his way out of here in an instant, but it's looking like he's going for the fast edits. Velicoti might potentially be out of materials now.
Oh my goodness, Cub Smiles found a way to medkit or bandage during all of that as well. A second straight engagement, Lupo, where he's dropped to under 30 health.
Fall damage from the tree, got to be very careful around this. They're not super high, but every little bit of HP, that currency, as we were talking about before, counts. And Jay Cuddy basically in a punching match against it's Myth, a build-off almost. Not a lot of ammunition, minus the shotgun here. He's going to have to make a play up close, potentially. Tons of materials, though. He's in a great position for materials. He's trying to go for basically a bludgeon or a place on one of these to get an edit, take advantage of it. Myth going for the shot. 15 HP left. He's got to stay above him and get a peek shot with a shotgun is going to be key here. Goes for it on the drop down. The tree actually absorbing a lot of the damage.
This was a replay from earlier.
Earlier Myth's elimination earlier on King, but Myth goes down to Jay Cuddy. And that is the end of the event for TSM's Myth.
We just lost Myth in that scenario. Jay Cuddy with the elim. We'll see if he can continue to push on through. Looking down at the scoreboard on our end, Animal. NRG General stuck in these trees. So many materials. Look at the inventory. Similar of a loadout to 72 Hours, where it's just going 2 weapons, 3 heals. Tristan versus General. Tristan strikes first blood with the damage. Now trying to swap. He misses the shots. The hip fire is in. And General had everything he could ever dream of, but unfortunately loses his first fight, and now Tristan is rewarded with basically everything you could need.
Lenane, Kutra, and Crunch all in one little cluster. Lenane might be looking to third party, but it's not an issue yet. What a shot! A brutal word, Akers, but you're not wrong, and David's gonna have to try and choose another trajectory. Do you still engage in this situation? Do you still engage like David's going for?
I think you do. David's got 200 health. He's got minis and medkits, and he knew the last thing he saw was Tatlow eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate, and there you go. Said, it's a smart play. That's one where
he even nodded his head. That actually was a third elimination. That gets him a point.
That's to put him at 3 limbs. He saw Tatlow eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate. You go for it all. This was Vide up against Aiden. And GG, either way, Aiden put on a show earlier on, gave everyone a reason to cheer.
A lot of strong talk from Aiden claiming 7 eliminations. I can appreciate the confidence. It doesn't matter how Game 3 and Game 4 turned out for him either way. He's gonna move forward to the finals on Monday.
We
Still feel good about that.
Now David, last we saw from him, he was building up on top of this house. Got the elim, now stuck inside. He's got Animal of all people pushing him. Back on over to Sketch, Kayun, and Bowman. Full three-player fight. Everyone getting weak, and there's the double remote explosives. One. How about a second? How about a second? Anyone else want to play? Yes, please. Bye, friend.
Ooh. Sunk down through.
Moore trying to build a name for himself in this whole kind of competitive scene, and right now with 5 elims this game, continuing to spread himself out for the rest of the pack.
39 players remaining. The circle has 30 seconds to close, and this is the opposite side entirely from what we've seen in the past. Is far east by Lonely Lodge. Animal right now the only player with 5 eliminations. That's 2 points, and we cut over to him going with these fast edits, pushing up top and trying to counter build against his opponent. To the triangles, you saw him trap his opponent in to try and stop it, and actually standing right next to him and catches Monster with a 140
I'm literally clapping.
Shot.
Beautifully done.
Courage is actually clapping because a beautiful play, a lot of perfect decision making, and capping his opponent with those the pyramids right on top of the ramps.
Oh, and then he just ate a rocket from Tempo. I think this is Tempo he's fighting currently. Third party as well. He's got minis he can at least use to heal, but his opponent making sure he has no time to breathe. Here's his chance, popping those minis will put him back up to 86 HP. Still though, 1 rocket elims him. Will he launch pad out?
Almost expecting a bouncer to bounce out of there. He's the traps to block a drop in from Animal. Intelligent play from Tempo.
Oh.
Goes for it, almost gets it, but Tempo reading ahead.
Jeez, these edits.
A third party potentially sniping in on Animal while they're in the middle. Animal Tempo in the middle of the fight.
Tempo knows he's got a huge health advantage. Oh, he loses the build.
Gets
Drops
only
it for
shield
90.
tags. Unbelievable accuracy from Animal. Gets a 47 and a 50 with the double barrel swaps and finishes the engagement.
If you are Tempo, I'm wondering if he got caught with his build out still or something awkward, because if you get that floor on top, you cannot lose that fight. We got to peek this. We got to take a look at this. Here's from earlier on with Ghost Bizzle and Laddock.
Bizzle. Wow, the shots on a player count is going to happen now. Teenage underneath. Oh, Animal getting a tack shot, 30 damage. He's just going to start pushing into the spray and catches Teenage in the corner.
Dude, he is on a tear. And that actually just gave him control of at least the zone area. Another pro player near him, it's Gorilla from Team Envious.
8 elims for Animal. This is tied, I believe, for the most we've seen in a single game with what Aiden dropped in the second game. I mean, he's going for elim number 9.
Look, he's not stopping.
Here's the zone. You see a lot of players. Everybody pretty much already inside the next safe zone, but the positioning here, it's going to be key. Whether or not you have to move quite a bit for the zone or not. 8 elims for Animal. He's going to have to start moving in, catch him off guard, get the shot. 70 plus.
Still has minis.
The opponent, you know, still potentially has shield. Didn't get the. There's a sound effect that happens, Jack, when the shield gets popped. It's one that a lot of these players have memorized.
But look what this is doing. Shivsy had the health advantage. Now it's the other way around. But
almost caught
Animal tried to greed the big shield, and just like that, he's down to just 52 HP, and full panic is set on in. Oh, is he gonna get this big shield off this time? Nope, Shivsy will not be able to strike. He's actually using this time to pop bandages himself, so Animal will have the health advantage. And Shivsy knows this, which is why he's backing on up.
Here's your leaderboard. Animal literally double the next closest elimination count from Bowman SC, which is crazy. The number of eliminations that Animal has secured. Gorilla and Poach, as well as Vide, all 3+ eliminations. It's a single point for each of them. You see down C9 Shivsy and the rest of the board sitting just underneath 3 elims for a point.
Obviously, you're hiding in that. When you've got 5 of these pyramids, it's like whack-a-mole.
So Vague flying in, trying to get inside the safe zone. Just a quick glance down at the map. It looks like Logan might be the only one. You see him down there, the south side of your map right there. He's just away from everybody, and he's going to have to move the furthest right now, starting literally right now. Animal, 8 elims, still alive, looking to secure number 9, maybe be the first player to get into the double digits in a single game. And he's going to drop down, He's building up layers underneath himself so that the structure up top can't be knocked down instantly. People can't just drop a single rocket and he'll have to experience fall damage, something like that. Even covering the traps like that can be super effective. You'll find people that'll try and push up from underneath and get caught off guard by just
place that wall
trap.
on the ramp. Yep. Animal still in this one, building above the pyramids. He's got the high ground now, and he's got bounce pads. And the beauty of this is, even if someone shoots down the structure, he's so high up that he can place a panic bounce pad, which he didn't get to do yet. He's trying to do it. Okay, that was all the fall. But you saw he was spamming, hoping he could place it because he thought the whole thing was going down.
The number of players stacked on top of each other in this. Everybody is inside this thing right now, and they're all going to have to move. If you look at the mini-map, a west-northwest push from the Storm here. She is a cruel mistress, and players are going to find out real quick. Everybody that's in here, they're all going to have to move out, and in my opinion, an earlier move right now, the better, because they're all worried about everyone that they can hear vertically. Now's the time to get out of there.
Will they do it is the question. Who has bounce pads to kind of pick up the pace there on the transition? Animal with a 9 a limb.
Catches Megalomaniac hiding down in the bottom there, and he's got such a wonderful setup. A lot of up close combat available for him, and he's not going to go down easy in a 1v1.
Look at all these people stacked. And Animal did use a bounce pad to cross that whole area. You see Shivzy just launch padded. Boo-Boo-Boosh just did the same. Players flying on in, stacking and building above each other. Sloth now. He's wondering where his next opponent could be. Worried about his back, it seems. Animal gets another elim onto Shivzy. That's now 10 eliminations for Animal. Seems to be proving why he named himself that right here.
There's almost so much movement right now. Keep your eyes on the feed, folks, because that's going to be where a lot of the information on who eliminates who in the middle of this is going to come from. There's just so many engagements that are going to happen during a rotation, especially the next one. A southwest push. Levake has the top down, and there's so many fights happening simultaneously. You see Sloth goes down to Nazgul in the bottom. A number of fights. Hysteria and Enigma are on top of each other in the feed. Poach gets Animal goes down with 10 elims. Gorilla taking out Joystick, who was hiding behind the tent earlier. So many players fighting for position right now because 4 more eliminations means top 10 for the remaining players, and that's a point apiece.
This is prime Poach right now. This is when Poach is by far one of the scariest players in all of competitive Fortnite.
Don't box this man in. You will regret it.
Yeah. He knows how to maneuver. He knows how to dance.
He's taking control of a lot of these surfaces, like you were saying earlier. That is a huge piece of up-close combat. Levake not moving yet, even though the surface is coming. He's got to. He's dropping down to try and get any sort
Poach
of.
Is very low on mats though.
Nazgul dies the Storm. Fuzzy takes Bumble out. Sean was taken. One of our previous winners goes down to Levake, as we're talking about. Boosh taking Nice out. Enigma eliminated by the Storm. Vide eliminated by the Storm. The Storm claiming a number of players here. Fuzzy. Poach goes down to Fuzzy, and Fuzzy gets elimination just before that. We have two players remaining.
It's a
1v1. Fuzzy at 5 elims already, which should feel fantastic, but he's going to start getting tapped at from above here.
At least he'll have a big shield to use. So put him at 162.
Push. Sap.
Oh, Sap.
Looking to get the shot. The wall blocks it. A last-second build.
These are all his mats. Keep this in mind. These are all of his mats. Down to 75. The spray comes in with the drum gun. He's got this player weak. This would be only a second elim, but there it is. Tries to edit it out, but Sap from Ghost. Gotta be Ghost Gaming.
Ghost Gaming has been performing above and beyond both Saf and Aiden. Every player from Ghost seems to just know exactly how to play this.
Players here. We know the top 16. It's a look at Animal with the 14 elims and 7 total points. Lines up, coming out on top. Congratulations to him.
We talked about, you see there 14 elims and Aiden has 18. You might be wondering, why is Animal above? He actually has more victory royales. Remember, that's the first tiebreaker option, the first, the checkbox. So Animal, having secured the higher placement than Aiden, puts him above first place for the qualifiers today, Jack.
It's kind of swapping on through. Saint, all he needed was the one game. 2 total elims and 3 points. That was it. That's all he got. That's all he needed was 1 victory royale. Congratulations to him. Sap in that 5th spot. Again, 3 make it in. Here's our 32. And Marksman, Poach, both making it on through. Congratulations to them.
Now, anybody on this list that was not a competitive invite from Epic, there's C9 Bandit in the 33rd place.
C9 Bandit actually is the one to bump out his teammate Shibsy.